The Trump campaign warning Venezuelan-Americans in South Florida about a socialist future if Joe Biden wins, even saying the U.S. could become the next Venezuela. It's a message that is really hitting close to home for some folks, and it could secure important votes for the president this election. Here's what two Venezuelan-American Trump supporters told NBC News correspondent Ellison Barber.
Venezuelans feel that their only hope of Venezuela ever becoming a free country again go through the hands of Donald Trump.
Some people, they will hear that and they will say, yeah, Donald Trump made a lot of promises about what he was going to do in regards to Venezuela. Sure, there are sanctions, but Maduro is still in power. The situation has not gotten much better in the last 4 years.
I mean, Maduro used to be rampart. He used to be happy in the world. Now he's locked in there. He has a bounty on his head. He cannot move very much.
But is that because of Donald Trump, or is that because of Venezuelans like Leopoldo Lopez or Juan Guaido?
No, that's absolutely because of Donald Trump. I mean, if Donald Trump hadn't recognized the Guaido interim government, nobody else would have.
When we had the coup d'etat against Chavez, and President Bush was the president at the time, he never came out so eloquent to support the opposition like Donald Trump has done it.
Ellison joins us now from Doral, Florida. Ellison, why is the Venezuelan-American population in Florida, why are they such an important group in the 2020 election?
The simple answer is probably because Florida. Everything is decided in the margins, and this is a number that's enough to potentially influence the election. The longer answer is that when you look at eligible Hispanic voters in the state of Florida, the two biggest groups are Cuban and Puerto Ricans. Venezuelan-Americans, they are the smallest group of eligible Hispanic voters in this state. They make up about 2% of the electorate there. That's about 75,000 Venezuelans who are eligible to vote. But they are the fastest growing. From 2008 to 2018, the number of Venezuelan eligible voters in the state of Florida grew by 184%. If you look back at 2016, what happened in Miami-Dade, this is the county that is a Democratic stronghold. But what we saw happen was Hillary Clinton didn't get the complete landslide that people maybe thought she was going to get. President Trump did a bit better among Hispanic voters here, and that was because of Cuban Americans and Venezuelan Americans. So when you look at this group of voters, they are growing. There are more of them every year becoming eligible to vote. And when you're in a place like Florida, where maybe 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 new eligible voters that weren't there last election potentially are in play, that makes them a big deal. And they're a big deal this election cycle in large part because President Trump and the Trump campaign have made them a very big piece of their strategy here in South Florida. They have campaigned hard to this community, and not just for a few months, but really the last 2 years. Allison?
Ellison, Joe Biden's made it clear that he is not as far left as someone, for example, like a Bernie Sanders or an Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. But he and Kamala Harris have had some trouble winning over voters who are wary of progressives. Why is that? What are you hearing?
Yeah, I mean, it's because of where many of these voters came from. I mean, they are not in the United States necessarily because they wanted to be here, but because of the economic, political, and humanitarian crisis happening in Venezuela. They were forced to flee because they couldn't work, because a block of cheese costs the same amount as someone's entire month of work, their entire salary. They had to come here to feed their families. They didn't necessarily want to leave Venezuela, but what has happened over the years, they've been forced to leave. Who is in power in Venezuela? It's a socialist government. It has been from Hugo Chavez to the current president, Maduro, who obviously the U.S. recognizes a different president, but you have socialists who are in charge there. So for many of these people in the Venezuelan-American community, when they hear words like socialism, it's a word that stirs up a lot of emotions and trauma for them. And President Trump and his campaign have been very successful at convincing people here that Biden is tied to far-left socialist policies, even though Biden is not a socialist. Allison?
Ellison Barber, thanks so much.
Hey, NBC News viewers, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on that button down here and click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives. Thanks for watching.